To respect the people who have joined, we are going to start. So welcome to the East Central and South Africa Microsoft Excel Forum, hosted by Crisp Excel Consulting, Training and Consulting. To support our webinar, please go and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can see many more other webinars, recorded webinars. Today, we are privileged to have Meghanathan for the second time. Meghanathan is a Power Query consultant. His expertise is data cleaning, Excel, creating Excel solutions, data analysis, and dashboard preparation. I'll share with you his social media links, very interesting blog, Twitter, Facebook, and also his YouTube channel. Please follow him. And the topic for today is hidden tricks in Power Query. Yes.
Is it visible?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll start with the hidden tricks in Power Query. My first trick is that it's my favorite one, which I learned from Abdullah Ali. So consider in our requirement, for our transformation, we handle 2 or more tables, right? So here in our case, I have 2 tables here. One is a location table, which is a dimension table. Then booking, it's a fact table. Typically, people extract these tables into Power Query editor as separate queries. Here you can see location is a separate query and booking table is a separate query. Or in other case, people used to extract these tables in single query, but in different steps. Here you can see it's a booking table. Here it's a location table. If our transformation involves 5 tables, then we will have 5 steps here. But I will show you a trick here. We extract one table into Power Query editor, and I will convert this into a function. So that instead of having 5 steps or 2 steps, I will have only 1 step for extracting a table. I will show you how to do this now. So here, if we extract tables, official tables from Excel, then it will Power Query by default will create Excel.current workbook. Let me copy this, cut this, so that you can see that result of Excel.current workbook is a table which contains Excel tables, and if you apply some filters there, it will have filter. And then if you have some named managers, names in Excel, then it will extract those also. From there, since our requirement is to extract tables, so table names obviously will have unique names, right? We can't name 2 tables with the same name. So there will be some unique names. For that particular reason, Power Query does key lookup. Here you can see this curly braces refers row index operator, and this square bracket refers column index. So inside row index, instead of placing 0 or 1 or 2, it does a key lookup, and it says name column has to be F booking. So if I cut this column reference, then it will extract a record. From this record, it extracts only a content table, content column, so it delivers a table, right? Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to convert this step into a function. For that, here I'll start with each. See, when we have a function, we will have a argument, we will have a variable in which the table name is a variable. So instead of F booking, I will replace the table name with underscore. Now it will become a function. Here you can see it becomes a function, and name of the function is source. Now I can use this function name with a variable in our transformation. So here first I'll try to extract bookings table. So after the source, which is the function name, I'm feeding a variable, which is inside double quotes, I'll place F booking. If I click on the tick mark, it will extract a table now. Now I can do any transformation here. Just for an example, I'll try to add a column here. So I will use table.add column. First argument is table. This particular construction delivers a table. Then, since we are adding a column, it asks you what is the column name, what is going to be a new column name. I'll place some random names here. Then in column generator, I'm just giving you some example in which I'm going to extract multiple tables with one step. So here I will try to extract in each row of this particular new column, I'll try to extract this location table. For that, again, I will use this function name source, and the variable name is name of the table, which is the location. That's it. I will close parenthesis for table.add column, and I will click on the tick mark. You will see here it added a column, and in which each cell it contains a location table. So here, with a single step, I extracted two tables. See here, within our transformation, I am using the function name. The variable is table name. I can do any transformation here. I can extract a city name from the location table or state name, anything we can do. Just for the sake of an example, I'm telling you this. We can use this trick to extract multiple tables. This is our first trick. Let me close this. I'll save this and close it. Now I will show you our second trick, which is generating multiple columns. That I will show you how to do this with a single step. Here is our source data, which contains date column, and it's in the table format. Consider our requirement is we are going to add a column, and we are going to extract month, quarter, and year from this date column. So I'm going to add multiple columns here. Typical way, usual way is that people will add a column for month. Then another step, they will add a column for quarter. Then they will add column for year. But I will try to simplify the process. I will show you the trick, and we can use different functions here. I will show you how to do this with the table.split column and table.FromList function. And again, I will use table.transformRows function. I'll show you how to do this now. So here, let me insert a step, and I will start with table.split column function. First, I will use table.split column. First argument is table. Change type is the name of our table. Source column, it asks you about column which you are going to split, name of the column. In our case, name of the column is date. Then it asks you about splitter function. In our case, I'm not going to do any splitting here. I'll simply place each underscore, which means I'm just converting each items. So here, I'm just picking this 1/1/2025, and I'm converting this into a list. Here I'm picking 6/1/2025 and converting this into a list. Then fourth argument is column names or number. We can provide a number, how many columns will be there, or we can provide column names. For now, I will use number 4, or we can even ignore this. So 4 will have column 1, column 2, column 3, and column 4. Right? That's fine. But how can we create multiple columns with this? See here within the list, I will place 4 underscore here, which represents the date column, and this function will create 4 columns with the content of date. As of now, we are not doing any transformation here. This will have 4 columns with a date, and this underscore refers date. I can do any transformation here. So second column, our requirement is to have year. For that, I will use date.year function. Just click this tick mark here. You can see it extracts a year. In the third column, our requirement is to have quarter, date that quarter of the year. I'll close parenthesis and click on the tick mark. Just see it extracts a quarter. Again, here I can extract a month. Date.ToText. I will use date.ToText function. From date, I will extract only month name. For that, I will use M, which is a replacement of text function in Excel. Again, I will click on the tick mark. You will see month names here. So instead of column numbers, I can provide column names. Since it's a column names, our requirement is to have 4 items. So I will create a list here. You can see curly braces are list initializers, in which I will place first column name is date, second column name is year, third one is quarter, fourth column name is month. At the end, I will close parenthesis and click on the tick mark. You see, it has 4 columns. In a single step, we added 4 columns using table.split column function. Now I will do the same with the table.FromList function. Again, I will duplicate this query, and this time I will use table.FromList, table list. Okay. Now again, I will insert a step here. I'm going to use table.FromList function. So the function itself says it will convert a list into a table. For that, input has to be a list. So I will convert this table into a list. It's what we call is a projection method. After the table name, within square bracket, I provided a column name, which will extract particular column, date column, as a list. Now again, I will use table.FromList function. Here you can see splitter as nullable function. Same thing. I'm going to use the same construction here. We are going to cheat Power Query that I did a transformation and my result is a list. You can see this list here. The same trick. I'll close parenthesis and click on the sticky. Now you can see 4 columns are there. Again, I can do the same transformations here. I will extract year, I will extract quarter, I will extract month. And you can see the same arguments here. Again, here I can provide column names. I can provide a column number or column name, or I can ignore this argument. This is our second method. Let me duplicate this. This time I will do transform rows. Let me insert a step. I will start with table.transformRows function. Table.transformRows. The transformation, the second argument is transformation as function, in which I will place each underscore. It's a custom function. For now, I'm asking it to keep the values as it is. I'm not doing any transformation here. I'm simply transforming this table into a list of records. Here you can see it contains a record which has only one field, date. Now again, I'm going to add fields here. For that, I'm using Shift 7, which is ampersand, what we call is a concatenation operator. And if we combine 2 records, we can combine this 2 records or 2 lists or 2 tables based on this ampersand symbol. Now I'm going to add fields here. I will add only 1 column. For now, I'll use year. That is going to be date.year. For date time, I will refer the date column in our record. That's it. I will close parenthesis. I will close square bracket, and again I will close parenthesis for table.transformRows. Here you can see we have added columns here. In the same way, what I did earlier, I will do. I will add quarter and I will add month. Now again, I can use table.FromRecords function to convert this into a table. See, in a single step, I have added multiple columns, right? That's it about our second trick, generating or adding multiple columns in a single step. We used Table.FromList function, Table.TransformRows, and Table.Split column function. Let me get into our third trick. I'll show you one more trick with the Table.FromList function. Here, our source table contains a single column in which you can see date, product, and quantity is concatenated by comma. So delimiter is comma, and it is placed in a single column. Our requirement is to split this into multiple columns. In our case, 3 columns, right? Column for date, column for product, and quantity. Again, we are going to use Table.FromList function. So it will convert a list into a table. For that, the input has to be a list. So again, as I told you, table name within square bracket, column name. We'll extract a column from a table as in a list format. I'll start with the Table.FromList function. Again, I'm not going to do any splitting here. I'm going to use a default behavior of Table.FromList function. So in the splitter argument, I will place null. In columns argument, since our we know that there are 3 columns hidden inside our data column, so I will place 3. I will close parenthesis. See here, we are not doing any splitting here. Just see, I'm just splitting a list. Splitter is null, column is 3. But see the magic here. This has been split into 3 columns. How is it been done? I will show you this. See here, Table.FromList function. I'll simply click on the tick mark. Here it says, by default, the list is assumed to be a list of text values that is split by commas. So if our list contains text values separated by comma, then Table.FromList function assumes a delimiter is a comma. So we should split this based on comma as a delimiter. So that's why, even though we didn't specify any splitters here, Table.FromList pick the comma as a delimiter and split it in multiple columns. Right? Again, we can use the column names here in the list format. First one is date. Next one is product name. I will place product. Third one is quantity. That's it. Right? This we already discussed here, actually, the updating a record. I will show you, since it's there in our list, I will show you the process. I will add some more points here. The result of our output, the result of our previous step is the input here. So I am again using the same table, from which I will show you how to handle a record, how to add a field to the record, how to extract values from record. I will show you this. Again, I will insert a step and start with Table.TransformRows function. Table.TransformRows. We are not going to do any transformation here. I will place each underscore and I will close parenthesis. Each row of this table become a record now. So the entire table become list of records. Again, as I told you, I'm going to add a field with our record, so that I'm using concatenation operator. Our field name is that I will add some random fields. I don't have much purpose or reason for behind this. I will have some field as name. I will use some random names, not the dynamic one. Just to show you that process, I will add some field. And here you can see we have added a field in a record. And we can make it a dynamic one, as I shown you earlier. I extracted a year from a date, but here, just to show you that example, I'm simply adding some random field. I use concatenation here operator, which is ampersand. That's fine. That's fine. And again, we can add multiple headers here. Then instead of name, here I can use city, and I will place some random city names here. If I click on this tick mark, you will see city field is added to our record. That's fine. That's fine. What if I add a date field here? See here, instead of name, I will add a field date, which is already exists here. I will just try. I will just see what will be the result now. So I will click on this tick mark. Just see this. That recent value is getting replaced by our old value. So that the date was already exist here, but now Megan is replaced by our date. The date is replaced by this new header value. So it's about updating a field value. That's it. I'll show you one more trick here, in which I will delete those things. Okay. We'll try to extract a value from a record. For now, I will extract a product column. So again, underscore refers current record. So after that record, within square bracket, I just provide column name, which is product. So from this particular record, it extracts the field of product field as a text value or a number value. It's what we call as a scalar value, primitive value. Since there are no nested constructions here, and Table.Transform rows understands each row is a record, we don't have to place underscore here. Wherever there is an opportunity, Power Query tries to ease the process of its users. So here, instead of underscore, I can directly refer product. It will extract value from the particular record. That's fine. What if our requirement is to extract a field product, but not as a scalar value, but as a record? We can do this. Again, I will wrap this inside square bracket. Now it will become a record now. See, it's a record. Instead of now we can extract more number of field headers. See, after product name, our requirement is to extract quantity. If I click on the tick mark, now the record will have two fields, product and quantity. So this is about simple tricks to work with the records. I will show you how to apply filters when our criteria is a single value, or when our criteria is a list of value, or when the criteria involves more than one column. Here the criteria is region north and size small, or region south and size medium. I will show you how to apply filters on those criteria. Again, I will extract these tables. I already extracted these tables into Power Query Editor. So here are our criteria tables. This is criteria 1. This is criteria 2, and this is criteria 3. And this is our source table. It contains columns, item, size, region, and value. I'm going to apply filter with a single value. So the criteria 1 is In the region column, apply filter for north. That is our criteria here. So again, in our source table, I will insert a step, and I will start with table.selectRows function. Behind the scenes, this is a function our query creates when we apply filter through user interface. Again, first argument is table, source is name of our input table. Second argument is condition, in which each row we should provide Boolean values, true or false. If it contains true, then particular row will be applied filter and will be selected. If it false, then particular row will be omitted or ignored. Again, it's a function, so I will start with the each. Our criteria is that in region column, the value is not, and I will try to make it a dynamic one. Instead of hard coding a region value, I will try to make it a dynamic one. And our table contains a single value, one column and single value, region column, and the value is north. There is a function which is table.first value. So this will help us to extract top left cell. So in this case, in the source table, it will extract alpha, but in criteria 1, it will extract north, and it is a scalar value. So table.first value will fit our requirement 100%. I'll use criteria 1 here. Criteria 1 is a table name in which I'm asking it to pick first value, that is north. Now, if I close parenthesis and click on the tick mark, you will see filter is applied for north region. Then again, we copy this. Now I'm going to insert a filter for list of items. And our criteria is that the region column, our requirement is to apply filter for north or south. So I will change the construction here. So this time our criteria contains a list of values. So I will use list.contains function. I'm just picking functions from our requirement, from our question. So function name is list.contains, and our list is a criteria 2, but criteria 2 is in the table format. So again, as I told you, I'll try to, this is in the table format. To convert this into a list, I will use a projection method. After the table name, within square bracket, I will provide column name, that is region. Now, this particular construction will provide us a list which will have 2 regions. And we are comparing this list with our current row region in our source table. And I can access this current row region again with a square bracket. And this region refers to this particular value, north or south, in our source table. This region refers to region column in criteria 2 table. Close parenthesis for list.contains and table.selectRows function. I will click on the tick mark. Now you can see filter applied for north and south rows in region column. These are all usual methods. People can do this, but when our criteria involves and or condition, both and or condition, then you will not be able to do this the user interface. I will show you why. See here, our criteria is region north and small, or region south and medium. If I try to apply this using user interface here, I will select north and south. Again here, I will use medium and small. Now we manually applied this filter, but I'm going to check whether we applied filter is correct or not. So here you can see south and medium, north and small. If I check here, see south and small is there, right? This is not our desired result. We don't need this record. What we need is south and medium, south and small. That's just because the manual filter thinks region is north or region is south. In that way, it applies a filter. So whenever we do have multiple criteria in different columns, the manual the user interface method will not help us. What we can do once we apply filters, we can change the formula here. I'll show you how to do this. Our first criteria is region north and size is small. So here I will change the criteria here. Region is north and size is small. And this one is R criteria. I will change this into R. And again, I will copy this. And I will paste it here. We'll change this in a moment now. This one, I'm sure north and south. This one is south. This one is medium. Okay, let me click on this tick mark here. Now you can see this is our desired filter. I'll show you a simple method, just to ignore about this and and R conditions. It's for some person it's a hard one to digest. But I will show you a simple alternative for this. I'll insert a step here. I'll start with a source table. So again, I will start with table.selectRows function. It's a condition, so I'll start with the each. And our condition is that I'm going to check. I'm going to extract a record in each row, and this particular record is going to have a region and a size column. I'm going to ignore item and values here. I will extract region and size column of current record, current row in our source table. And I will compare this with the record in criteria 3 table. For that, I will use, just like our previous example, this time I will use table.contains. Here, subtable is our criteria table, just criteria 3. And the second argument, it asks you row as a record. As I told you again, I will create a record with multiple headers, multiple fields. First one is region. Next one is size. And this record belongs to our source table. So in the first row, it will pick small and north. So in the order of region and size, so north and small, and then it will compare whether these two values are there in a criteria table. Yes, it is there, true. South and medium, is it there in a criteria 3? Yes, it is there. East and large, is it there? No, it is not there. So it will deliver false. In that way, table.selectRows will pick rows which delivers true. I will close parenthesis for table.contains and table.selectRows. Now you will see the same result here based on our criteria 3. Instead of creating a more under and R condition, we can make it a concise one. So we applied a filter with a single criteria, and we used a list, and then we used a table. Now I will show you some list functions, how to work with inside a list, how to sort a list, how to extract a list with a maximum value. I'll show you some list functions now, tricks in lists. So consider our source is a list within list structure. So nested list. This is the outer list. Each item in a list is itself a list, and this contains, each inner list contains 3 values. Our requirement is to sort this list based on the some value of inner list. Consider this is our requirement. I'll show you how easily we can do with the Power Query, inside Power Query. So again, this is our input list. I will insert a step here. I will use list.sort function. Second argument is comparison criteria. In some functions you will see equation criteria, in some functions you will see comparison criteria. Here I will show you how easy in Power Query to sort this list based on custom criteria, right? In our case, I will start with each, and our custom criteria involves, our custom condition involves sum of each inner list. When I use each here, in that place, when I started with each, I can access each inner list. So I can simply some values in a list, and then list.sort function will sort this based on the result of our list.sum. So list.sum are anyway is going to provide a number, and it is easy to sort your list based on serial number. I will close parenthesis and I will click on the tick mark. See here, by default it sorts in ascending order. It's a list which contains less value when we sum these 3 values. So it sorts the list in ascending order. Now I will try to sort this in descending order. For that I will use order.descending. Again, you see I'm using a list here which contains a function, custom criteria, and then order, in which is it a descending order or ascending order. I will close parenthesis and click on the tick mark. Now you see the list has been reversed. A list with a higher value, some values at first position. See, there is a enumeration here. There is a concept for enumeration. I'll just see what is order.descending here. For that, I will place order.descending and I will click on the tick mark. You see, behind the scenes, it contains a value 1. So instead of placing order.ascending, I can place 1, order.ascending or order.descending. Here I can place 1. You will see the same results. And the enumeration for order.ascending is 0. By default, it's a this list.sum function will do sort by ascending order, so we don't have to worry about this. But again, I'm showing you the enumeration behind order.ascending. It's 0, right? And no, we can do a lot more than this. No, it's a simple example. That equation criteria and custom criteria is like we didn't dig deep into these arguments. There aren't much discussions about these arguments, and the capability of these arguments are not tested as of now. We can do a lot with these arguments. Just as the extent of this trick, I will show you one more trick within custom comparison inside List.Max function. It's going to be the same example, a list within list structure. I will tweak our requirement a bit now. That's it, a simple tweak in our requirement. Instead of sorting the list, instead of sorting a list, our requirement is to extract a list which contains a maximum value of sum. So again, I can sort this and I can pick the first value, but we do have functions, by the default functions are there. So I will try to get use of this List.Max function here. Again, this is our list. And our source contains a list within the structure. In order to pick inner list which has a maximum value, some value, I will insert a step. I'll start with the List.Max function. First argument is list. Next one is default. I'll place null. Again, you can see comparison criteria. Here again, I have used list.sum. And close parenthesis and click on the tick mark. It extracts a list with the highest sum. Right? And I will try to dig deeper into list functions. This time it's about list.Distinct. Consider this is our input, in which again we often work with a nested list structure. This list contains 3 values of A, B, and C, and it contains a different values here. But if you watch it closely, you can understand this first list and third list contains same values but in different order. And our requirement involves, when we pick distinct items, our requirement, demands us to consider the first list and third list as the same one. If you sort these things, this list, it will become same ABC and ABC. So that is our requirement. Consider the first and third list as the same one and extract distinct items. Again, I can now get into list.transform and sort each inner list, and then I can use list.distinct. This is the typical way, but list.distinct itself has the capability to do custom comparisons. So for that, I will insert a step. I will start with the list.distinct. As I told you, here it is equation criteria, but I'm going to do the same thing here. Each list.sort underscore refers to each inner list. That's it. I'll close parenthesis and click on the tick mark. Just see the magic here. It has only one list which contains ABC. The other list is gone now. And more than this, list.distinct, when we hear this function, we will use it to extract distinct items when the list contains scalar values. Here it's text values, and I can use it to extract list.distinct. But list.distinct has the capability to extract distinct items if each item is a list or each item is a record, or it also has the capability to extract distinct items between list of tables. Now see, here is our list, and I have already transformed this. Here you can see I do have some duplicate values. First one is a list which contains A, B, C, 3 values, and again third list contains the same values. It's a list within list structure. I'll simply use list.distinct here. Just see. In our earlier case, it picks distinct scalar value. Here it picks distinct list values. Again, the same here. I have a record, and it was wrapped inside the curly braces, so it's a list of records. Here you can see it's a record which has 2 fields. If you if you look at this closely, here we can see name Rick and age 75 is being duplicated here, and it's a record. List.distinct function has no issues handling records. It extracts distinct records. Right here, I have one more example here just to provide you some idea about custom comparison or equation criteria argument. Again, just see the magic here. The record contains 2 fields, name Rick and age 75. take a close look at this. Here the name is Rick, but age is 74, right? There is a difference. So when I use this List.Distinct, it will not disturb any records here. This and this are different. The age is different, so List.Distinct will deliver us 4 records. But our requirement is to consider only name column. Just see the name column. It is getting repeated. Ignore this. For that, again I used a simple equation criteria in which I am telling List.Distinct only consider name column. Do not consider any other fields. Just consider name column. If it is duplicated, ignore this, avoid it, delete this. That's what I'm saying. So again, this name age 74 is not here. You can see after Nabil there are no records, and it has the capability find the difference between the tables. If there is any difference, it will keep, or if it is the same tables are there in multiple locations, it will keep the first occurrence. So if I have to summarize this, List.Distinct can extract distinct values of scalar values or list or record or table. It can handle any values inside a list. Show you one more interesting use case of Table.TransformColumns function, in which I will give you some insights about making it more effective one. So here is our source data, which contains employee name, manager name, and salary columns. In both name columns, you can see employee ID and names are concatenated. But our requirement is to extract only the name here. So I will try to use text after delimiter function, and delimiter is hyphen. That's what we are going to do here, and we are going to do this in 2 columns, employee name and manager name. I will add a step here and start with Table.TransformColumns function. First argument is table. Second argument is transform operations as list. You can see that particular function expects a list here. So I will start with the list initializer, which is curly braces. Inside our list, we can provide 3 arguments. First argument is a column name which are going to transform. So here I will feed employee name. I will start with the employee name transformation in this particular column. The second argument is a function, the transformation operation which are going to do. As I told you, if it is a function, always start with each underscore. For now, I am not doing any transformation here. And we can provide one more argument. I'll tell you later. For now, I will start with the text after delimiter. Inside text after delimiter, first argument is text. I will place underscore. Underscore is current item in employee name column. Since we are doing transformation in employee name column, underscore refers to each cell value in row. And what is the delimiter here? So I will place it within double quotes. Close parenthesis. And then I will close parenthesis and click on this tick mark. So we got our result in our employee name column. We extracted a name after delimiter. As I told you, we can use 3 arguments here. Just see, by default it's in general format. You can see ABC 1 2 3. It's a replacement of general format in Excel. It says it can be a text or number value. I can assign a data type here. That is going to be our third argument. I will say it's going to be type text. Just see here, you can see it will change now. Now it becomes a text value. But the thing is, this data type and the transformation here we are doing does not have any relationship. So even if I place it as type number, it will accept. It will change the column header as number. So make sure our data type match with our transformation. So here I use the text.delimiter function, and anyway it will going to provide a text value. So I will change it as type text. But we did it for only employee name column. Again, we have to do this for manager name column. So in the second argument, we can add multiple columns here, and it's going to be within a list. Again, it's a list within list structure. This is the outer list, and I started here. Next list is going to have a transformation for manager name column. So here, instead of employee name, I will change it as manager name column. We only started the list, outer list here, so we have to close that outer list. For that, I will place curly braces. I can simply click on the tick mark here. Now you can see both the employee name and manager name columns are transformed. This is fine. See, just one thing is that no, we use the same construction here in multiple occasions. If we have 4 or 5 columns, then we should repeat this in 4 or 5 times. I will show you a trick to make it more effective one. That we insert a step, and I will use source column again. I will use source table. Let me start with the Table.TransformColumns function. This time in transform operations argument, I will provide a transformation, but for salary column, not for employee name and manager name. So the salary column, we are not going to do any transformation here. So I will place each underscore, and I will explore more about this Table.TransformColumns function. So if I place comma here, now we get into third argument, which is default transformation. In place our same construction here, text after delimiter, text. For that I will place underscore. I will show you what this means. Our delimiter is hyphen. Now this default transformation will be carried out for all columns except columns mentioned here inside the list. So the Table.TransformColumns function will leave salary column as it is, and will transform based on this function for all other columns. So in our case, employee name and manager name column. I close this parenthesis and click on tick mark. You will see employee name and manager name columns are transformed here, but salary column remains as it is. Right? And one more, I will show you one more trick with the Table.TransformColumns function. So let me copy this, and I'll paste it here. Here in the transform operations, the second argument is transform operations as list, in which I will feed an empty list. I will directly move on to our third argument, default operation. So that whatever the operation I provide here will be carried out for all columns. So I will start with each, and here we should be more tricky that it involves a salary column. So I will provide a condition here. If current value is type number, then leave it as it is. Else extract text after delimiter. Delimiter is hyphen. That's it. Salary column remains as it is, and the employee name and manager columns are transformed. Only thing I just wanted to show you that the usage of empty list in our transformation stuff. Again, so no, since I showed you a simple example about empty list and argument. I'll show you one more example with this unpivoting process. Our source data contains columns here like city 1, city 2, agency, and cost, right? Here our requirement is to unpivot all columns, which means our requirement is to have only one column, and this is our result. Till 150 is first record, and then till 200 is the second record. For that, I'll show you how to do this. I'll show you how to. It's kind of wrapping into one column. What we call is a to-call function in Excel. I will show you how to do this in Power Query. So I will start with the table dot and pivot other columns. First argument is a table, sources name of our input table. Pivot columns as list. Again, I will use empty list. In the attribute column, I will place some random text values here. Value column also, again, I will place data. Close parenthesis and click on the tick mark. Now, all our column values are there in the data column. I will extract this into a single table, table with a single column. For that, again, as I told you, I will use square bracket. Inside square bracket, I will place column name. See, it extracts the data column, but in a list format. I'll try to convert this into a table format. The simple one, you don't have to worry about this. We did the same in record. I'll wrap it inside square bracket now. This will extract data, but as a table, single column table. Right? So,
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
We are
That's
listening.
it from
Yeah,
me.
we are listening. Can you repeat the last trick? I was still waiting for something. I don't know. I think I've missed the last one.
Yeah, sure. Let me.
Okay.
So here I do a table with 4 columns: city 1, city 2, agency, and cost. Don't bother about the values here. Somewhere we will have a requirement to have it in a single column. Right? Now in Excel, we will do this with a to-call function. We will convert all those values into a single column, one columnar array. In Power Query, we can do this in multiple ways. I'll show you one method using table.unpivot function. So here, I'll insert a step, and I will start with table.unpivot other columns. So usually, typically this function will, how will this function will work is that it will keep one column, either it's a city 1 or city 2, it will keep one column and it will pivot it, and it will unpivot all other columns. So if I say city 1, I'll just show you the sample here. In pivot columns as list, I'll provide city 1. Since requirement is a list, I'm now wrapping inside a curly braces. Then for attribute column, which means table.unpivot other columns will always have a 2 column, one for the city 1 column and then next one for the attributes. For that, we should provide a name. I'll simply use A here, and then for the value column, I will use data. We close parenthesis and click on this tick mark. Sorry, it has space here. You can see here for Zurich there are 3 records: city 2 and Oslo, agency, and A1. In that way, 3 columns become 3 records, right? I'm going to do some transformation here, pick a bit here, so that in the final output I will have only 1 column. So instead of city 1, I will feed an empty list. Just see the result here. So again, it has 2 values. This is the header, and this is the value. That value inside this records. I just need this data column. I don't need this attribute column. So I'll try to extract a data column. For that, I will use a projection method. Again, after the table, within square bracket, I'll provide column name, which is data. If I use this, it will extract a data column as a list. Our requirement is to have a data column in a table format. For that, again, I will wrap this inside a square bracket. Just see here. Now this data is a table. See?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What can I say? I have liked like almost all your tricks. It's 1 hour and plus, and I think we should continue. My favorite trick was the table.select rows.
Yes.
That one is new, and also the default transformations in the table.transform.
Yes.
That for me also was mind-blowing. Thank you for coming. If there's anyone with a question, you can raise your hand. I'll unmute you. Ask Megan any question that you have. How come you have accumulated all these tricks? What can you what do you do to accumulate all these beautiful tricks?
I regularly follow that Abdullah Ali and Aditya Kumar Darak. These are the minds, when it comes to Power Query, they are extraordinary minds. They used to provide the solutions in Excel BI and yours challenge, and then Umet's challenge.
Okay.
Other than my solution, I used to pick daily. I used to pick either Aditya Kumar Darak or Abdullah Ali, and I used to understand their solutions. I used to just try to read their minds.
Okay.
Yeah. How they see the problems and solutions. In that way, I try to analyze them. I just try to learn them.
Yeah.
Yes.
Abdullah Ali,
yeah. Tell me.
Yes. Abdullah is in our group. I'll ask him to come and share some of his tricks also.
Sure. That would be great.
Yeah. Anyone else with a question? As the others think of the questions, in the List.Distinct, I see that by default is picking the first true occurrence. What if you want to pick the last? How would you pick the last?
Okay. So you are asking me to pick the second occurrence instead of last occurrence.
No, the last. Assume they are like 10 and you want to pick the last one. Yeah. Is there like a -1, like the way we are doing the dynamic array functions, or how do you do it in Power Query?
In Power Query, actually, for now I don't have idea about this. Now, actually, what we can do, somewhat we can provide through our equation criteria, comparison criteria. I can provide a serial number, but in reverse order. In the reverse order, so that first list will have 4. In that way also, it will have, I have to work about this. I have to work on this. Then only you can get some idea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyone else with a question? I don't see anyone else with a question. Megan, thank you for coming. This has been an absolute good session. I've learned a lot, and yeah. And as you also think about picking the last, I also check out on what else we can do on picking the last occurrence.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.